Hi Taurus, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly horoscope for the month of August. Mars is currently transiting in Aries in your 12th house of the subconscious mind, the house of endings and imagination, and it will be there until January 6th of next year. Now the Mars energy is getting much more pronounced in the month of August because it's going to make more challenging influences. But with that said, think of it as a time to still launch things because Mars will be retrograde from September 9th until November 13th, and that might bring up a lot from your past. It might be that, in this process leading up till January of next year that you're completing certain things with Mars, because this is a completion with Mars in your house of endings. But with all of that said, we begin the month with Mercury in Cancer in your third house of communication and ideas, opposite Pluto in Capricorn, and that is a challenging influence. So that's not a good time for partnering or working with other people. It's good for uncovering information. On the 3rd of August, we have a full moon in Aquarius that occurs at 11 degrees and 46 minutes of Aquarius, and that falls in your 10th house of career and life goals. And this could bring completion to professional projects you've been working on. It could bring things to light. That is a strong full moon. And then we have on the 4th of August, transiting Mars squares Jupiter in the sky, and that brings an expansion of the whole Mars energy, and people might be more worked up with that energy. For you, it's a great time for doing work with the imagination because Mars is in your 12th house of dreams and Jupiter is transiting in your house of higher learning and belief systems. So it's good for a manifesting energy. 5th of August, the North Node of Destiny meets up with Venus in Gemini, and that's a really nice aspect for being in the right place at the right time, meeting people. It falls in your second house of financial opportunities and income, and it's good for partnering financially with others. It's good for doing creative projects. It's good for meeting people. It's a very social aspect, so that's nice. And then on the 7th of August, Venus exits the sign of Cancer, Gemini, where it's been for a while because Venus was retrograde earlier in the year in Gemini from May 11th until June 25th. So it enters the sign of Cancer and enters your third house of communication and ideas, and that's good for creative thinking. It's going to be in this house for you until September 6th. It's good for meeting people locally, getting involved in neighborhood activities. And then on the let's see here, on the 13th of August, transiting Mars in the sky forms a square to Pluto. That's a combative aspect. That is not an easy aspect. That's one to lay low. You may feel very emotional with that energy because, again, Mars is in your house of the subconscious mind, and it's an emotional house. That's the house that's the Pisces house in astrology. But that's not an easy influence. Definitely lay low on the 13th if you can. And then on the 15th of August, Uranus stations retrograde in your sign, in your first house of new beginnings. And we feel the energy 5 days before and 5 days after. So there could be unexpected events. There could be a bit of upheaval because Uranus is the planet of the unexpected and of awakening, but it can be disruptive. It can also be ingenious and innovative, but it is a bit disruptive in your sign. And on the 18th of August, we have a new moon in Leo. And that's a wonderful new moon because transiting Venus in Cancer forms a sextile to Uranus in your sign. And that is very creative, very social, very innovative energy. And the new moon in Leo, Leo rules the heart. And Leo rules your house of home and family. That's new beginnings in what gives you structure emotionally, your emotional foundation, new opportunities around home and real estate, and that's a nice new moon, okay? And then we have on the 25th of August, transiting Mercury in the sky, forms a trine to Uranus, and that is a aspect of innovation and brilliance. And that day, Venus in Cancer, in your third house of communication and local community, forms an opposition to Jupiter in Capricorn. And Jupiter and all the planets in Capricorn have been transiting in your ninth house of higher learning and promotion and publicity and education. And that is a time of that's where you're expanding and you're restructuring through your belief system, through maybe taking classes, going back to school, taking webinars, all of this, and promotion, self-promotion. So that's going on, and that's really creative and innovative energy. On August 27th, transiting Venus in Cancer forms a beautiful trine to Neptune in Pisces, and that's beautiful energy, very romantic, very creative. Neptune is the higher octave of Venus, so that's a great day for doing creative things, for romantic endeavors. And on the 29th of August, we have transiting Mercury in Virgo, forming a trine to Jupiter in Capricorn. And again, Jupiter is in your house of higher learning. So that is good for you, and Mercury will be transiting in your house of romance and creativity as of the 19th of August. So that's good for having fun, that's good for socializing, that's good for learning, for creative endeavors. But on the 30th of August, you want to know that Venus forms an opposition to Pluto in the sky. So that can be an aspect of endings and breakups, and transiting Mercury in Virgo forms an opposition to Neptune in Pisces, and that's falling in that could be issues of friends, or perhaps deception or confusion. So that's not an easy energy on August 30th, not a good time for partnering or for a first date. But there's a lot to work with in the month of August, even though there are challenging aspects. On the 24th of August, transiting Mars is going to square Saturn in the sky. So Mars in your 12th house of the imagination, squaring Saturn in the 9th house of belief systems. Maybe you're going to feel a bit frustrated with that energy. That's great for getting laborious work done and things that take a lot of time and are not exactly exciting. It's not something where things happen very quickly, but it also can feel like it impedes your progress. But again, bear in mind that Mars is retrograde from September 9th until November 13th. Not an ideal time to launch new things. So you really want to capitalize on Mars still charging ahead in the sign it loves to be in Aries. Even though it's making some challenging aspects, we also have some really good aspects, some very innovative aspects, and Mercury is now direct and zipping ahead. It changes signs in the month of August, so that helps us all to move ahead as well. So I wish you a lot of luck, Taurus, and thank you very much. Take care.